when we talk about repentance, we need to talk about repentance not just vertically in our relationship with the Lord, but we need to talk about repentance horizontally. Horizontally in our relationship with men and women that we know. You always have to ask forgiveness to God, and you will often have to ask forgiveness to other people. The question is, when you're going to pursue repentance with other people, how do you do it? The dynamics of asking for forgiveness are similar to how they are in your relationship with the Lord. You would come and you would say, hey, here is what I did, here's the sinful thing that I did, and I need you to forgive me. Will you please forgive me? The language of what you say in repentance is actually a lot easier in the grand scheme of things than the dynamics of how you do it and how you think about it. So one thing to remember when you're repenting of sin to other people is the radius of confession really only should be as large as the radius of offense. That is, you want to confess to people you have sinned to, and not very often to people that you have not sinned against. So I've got a lot of stories where I was in a prayer meeting one time and this guy stood up. It was a mixed bag of people, men, women, boys and girls. There were probably 200 of us in the room, and he stood up and he started talking about all the details of his lust and all the details of his pornography and all of this kind of thing, and everybody was freaked out. And the reason everybody was freaked out was not just misplaced social cues. The reason everybody was freaked out is because his radius of confession was too large. He included people that didn't belong in it, and we need to think about keeping things smaller. That's not to say when the time isn't right that there's not an opportunity to talk in the sense of a testimony and what the Lord has done for you. But you'd want to do that with wisdom and with guidance and with other people helping you know what to say and what not to say in the context where you are. Second thing about repentance and confession with other people, you want the circle of confession to be as broad as the circle of offense. You also want to be honest. You don't want to say, for example, well, I haven't always been the kind of husband you've wanted me to be, or I haven't always been a perfect man. Well, I already knew that, I already knew that. That's not news. If you sinned against me, I need to know the details of what that was. But that gets to another problem. We also don't necessarily want the confession to be so detailed that I have made the extension of forgiveness and the reconciliation of our relationship to be unnecessarily difficult. So I don't need to share all the details of all the images. I don't need to share all the details of everything that was said or not said. What I need to do when I'm talking to you and confessing my sin is I need to give you enough information that you know what I've done and you know what I'm asking forgiveness for, but not so much information that I am clouding your head with unnecessary details that are going to perhaps tempt you, that are going to make our relationship unduly difficult. And so the big thing when that happens is, how do I sort that out? If you are going to seek reconciliation, repentance, and confession with somebody, you're often going to need a third party to help you. You're often going to need an accountability partner, a pastor, somebody who's not quite as involved in the situation as somebody that you're in a relationship with, to help you know what to say, what not to say, when to say it, and who might even need to be present for the conversation just to help.